Hello everyone, this is Hong Long from Hong Long Wuja. Students and workers took part in a rally and march against genocide for 2 hours on the campus of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas on Thursday morning. The crowd fluctuated between 70 and 100 supporters, with people carrying signs not only calling for an end to the genocide, but also linking U.S. politicians, Genocide Joe in particular, with the crimes being carried out by the Zionist state of Israel. For many of those in attendance, the genocide in Gaza has brought them into the streets for the very first time. One young student, her voice shaking, said that we cannot allow this to stand, and we cannot stand idly by. We have to make our voices heard. This genocide has got to stop, and our politicians have to stop sending the Israelis the weapons to do this. The rally was held as governments around the world are attempting to criminalize all opposition to the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians. France has already made it illegal to demonstrate against the genocide being committed by the Israeli government, and Germany has made attempting to do the same, making it illegal to display Palestinian flags or symbols, although tens of thousands took to the streets over the weekend in defiance of these fascist attempts to stifle dissent. The rally at UNLV also took place only 1 day after Representative Rashida Tlaib was censured for her political beliefs, which, according to the WSWS, the World Socialist website, makes her the first person to be censured for their political beliefs since the Civil War. Patrick Martin from the World Socialist website wrote, there is a historical parallel to this policy of seeking to ban speech in fear of its appealing to a political movement that has growing mass support. While Rashida Tlaib is the first U.S. House member to be censured solely for her political speech, there is one other representative who was censured for his political actions. Representative Joshua Giddings of Ohio was censured in 1842 for violation of what was known as the gag rule, imposed by the pro-slavery Democratic Party majority in 1836, after a flood of anti-slavery petitions and resolutions had been submitted to the House. This rule, in effect until 1844, barred any discussion or proposal in the House on the subject of emancipation. Giddings introduced a series of resolutions in support of 128 slaves who had rebelled and seized control of the American slave ship Creole in 1841. They diverted it from its course from Virginia to the slave market in New Orleans and forced the crew to sail them to the Bahamas, then a British territory, where slavery had been abolished. The colonial authorities declared the slaves free, but the U.S. government, under President John Tyler, sued for their return to the slave owners. He then quotes James Oakes, quote, Giddings' fellow congressman immediately voted by more than a 2-to-1 margin to table his 9 resolutions and then censured him for introducing such scandalous ideas into the House of Representatives. But the 53 votes cast in favor of the revolution was another indication that abolitionist precepts were penetrating into the political mainstream. Giddings resigned from Congress and went back to Ohio, where he ran for re-election and was returned to the House of Representatives by a landslide vote, end quote. Martin then says that the members of the House of Representatives who voted to censure Rashida Tlaib, the Biden administration officials who seek to criminalize pro-Palestinian protests, whether on college campuses or in the streets, and all the governments around the world seeking to suppress these mass protests against genocide, thus walk in the footsteps of the pre-Civil War defenders of the slaveocracy. They are terrified that any comment, even by a member of Congress, could serve as a lighted match in the tinder of social opposition. At the UNLV rally, there were 2 attempts by Zionists to disrupt it. In one instance, one of the Zionists was wrapped in an Israeli flag while holding an American flag, and he was getting into the face of protesters while yelling, "Fuck you," over and over and over again. Campus police eventually pulled him and his cronies away. The second incident saw a Zionist supporter demand to debate whether genocide was even taking place. This comes as Israel has bombed multiple hospitals and refugee camps over the past few days, as well as admitting that they are targeting ambulances because Hamas are using them to move around the city. Organizers said that the next rally at UNLV would be a teach-in, while the next citywide rally is scheduled to take place on the Strip at 4 p.m. November 12th in front of the Venetian. Anyone and everyone who is repelled by the horror being inflicted upon the Palestinian people should make sure to attend.